Ready Check Radio.
Stand by as we get ready to serve up all your news this week in the world of gaming. Welcome to Gaming Gumbo. Why, hello, Internet. Welcome once again. It's Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. That means here, twitch.tv/ReadyCheckRadio, we're doing Gaming Gumbo Live, your weekly gaming wrap-up show. If you're watching on YouTube or listening on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the other distribution platforms, welcome. Thank you so much. We love having you. While you're there, give us a like, a subscribe, a review, and turn on the notifications, all that fun stuff. If you like what we do here, it's a great way to support us. Fast, easy, and cheap. And make sure you tell a friend. Bring them here live, because we always bring chats, thoughts to the show as well. I'm your host, as always, Mike Byrne, but joining me, Mr. Dom Greco. What's up, sir?
How's it going? How are you today?
I'm doing well. Mm-hmm. Lou, my younger brother, brought over his Steam Deck, so he got his finally, so we hooked him up with some emulation stuff.
I just got through packing. I'm going to TwitchCon next week.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it should be good. If anybody's going, hit me up on Twitter. We could try to meet up.
Sounds good. Also on the line, resident artist of Ready Check Radio, Yad. What's up, sir?
I'm getting my allergies going right now.
Yeah, I see that. From last week's conversation with Dom. You also have the allergies to the cats, huh?
Yes.
You guys
They're
are
our
maniacs.
kryptonite.
You guys are maniacs.
This fluffy guy here.
Absolute maniacs.
Absolute Dagger.
Maniacs. We're gonna start off with some stuff that just makes me kind of go.
Yep. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's talk about what do we talk about? Let's talk about Stadia first. Why not?
I thought it was Ubisoft.
Yeah, we'll get to Ubisoft.
No.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah,
there's a lot of laughing this week.
Yeah, literally, when I did the Always Online show notes for yesterday's show, it was just kind of like there was a category that was just like ha 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 news, and these were two topics there. Obviously, we'll go a lot more in depth on today's show with them. Google Stadia, remember their online cloud streaming gaming software, thing, where you could buy the controller and the Chromecast and all that fun stuff.
The system they said was definitely not going away.
Yeah, as recently as last year and then again this year in July, they, tweet replied to people saying, hey, we are not shutting down. In fact, to refresh your memory fully, the reply on July 29th, just a mere 2 months ago, said Stadia is not shutting down. Rest assured, we're always working on bringing more great games to the platform and Stadia Pro. Right. Let us know if you have any other questions.
What was Stadia Pro?
That was the subscription membership.
Okay, so there was a subscription membership and a non-subscription. I did not know that.
So it would kind of be like Xbox Game Pass if you had the option of subbing to play the games that are on the pass, or I can be a pass member without paying and just buy games individually.
Gotcha.
So that's the kind of the way it worked on Google Stadia. And I own Google Stadia. I did not buy it. Did not buy it. It literally was.
When you got it for free.
I did. A friend of ours, Yad Q, and yours, Dom Q. Q used Stadia for Cyberpunk because at the time her computer would not have been able to run it. So she was like, I'll just play it through Stadia. Why not? And she had gotten the equipment for free through some trial sign-up offer type thing. So a friend of hers overseas had some type of redemption code to get the controller and Chromecast for free. It's like their Ultra Chromecast because you need the faster, newer one to do this. And he had a redemption code to get it for free, and that pack was like normally $100, but you could only use it if you were in the United States. So he said to her, like, do you have somebody that would want this? And she was like, look, I know that even if you don't buy it or use it, you like to mess around with the different tech things. Do you want this? And I was like, hell yeah. if for no other reason, then I'll walk out with a state-of-the-art Chromecast. Like, why not?
Right.
Right?
You just got the
Yeah.
Chromecast
I'll have the
going.
newest Chromecast for free. And I didn't expect it to work, but the code got transferred to me, and it worked perfectly. About a week and a half later, the shit arrived in the mail. And when I say shit, I mean it. The controller was garbage. The controller is absolutely the most. It wants to be an Xbox controller, but it won't do the treadmill work to shed some of the weight. Like it just won't. It's a little bulky.
What is it? An original Xbox controller?
No,
I was gonna say the original one.
Yeah. That beefy beast.
Yeah, that beefy beast. And so we messed around with the family and I on a couple like the free games just to see how well it worked. And it was like okay, but it wasn't anything to write home about. And then nobody ever touched the damn thing again. So I was not surprised that it was shutting down. I think, in fact, it was on this show, or maybe it was on Always Online, when we talked about the tweet saying it wasn't going to shut down. I said,
Yep.
as far as the person who runs the Twitter account knows.
yeah. Like I said, we talked about it on this show. I remember that.
Yeah, and Google just has that record, right? That MO. I mean, there's sites dedicated to every project that they've just flat out abandoned. So I don't think
And we both
Go ahead.
we both said, we both bet on it that they're probably going to shut down because they clearly stated we will not be shutting down.
And I mean, the thing was, it's not even hard to read the writing on the wall. You close down the development studio portion for your own internal software. So you were now 100%, Dom, tied to third parties. Like 100% to get software on there. And
Which before they closed that studio down, they also said we definitely are not closing the studio
definitely
down.
not closing the studio down. I don't think anybody was surprised, Dom, but apparently developers were.
I don't think they understand what the word definitely means.
Yeah.
You keep using this word. I do not think you understand what
Right.
I almost bought a Stadia back when it was announced. I didn't think it was going to be successful, but I almost bought one just to like try it out and stuff. I can't say that I'm glad that I did or didn't, because apparently they're giving full refunds back.
Yeah.
So it really wouldn't have mattered very much. I probably would have ended up getting the subscription service though. So
you would have been asked out on that side.
Yeah, you get nothing back.
Yeah.
If you bought the games outright, they're refunding them.
Yeah, they're refunding anything you spent on the hardware, which was, like I said, usually was on promotion for like $100 for the combination controller and Chromecast.
Right.
Any games you bought, you'll get, like, there's no qualifier, by the way. Like, if you spent money, you're getting it back. You will get it automatically back. They're estimating right now, they're going to wind it down at the end of January, and they're estimating the refunds to be about that same time, too. The only thing they're not refunding, yes, is if you had the Pro subscription, you were paying for a service each month. You did get that service each month. They are not refunding that subscription fee.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's really going to fault them there.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. While it probably wasn't surprising to any of us, Yod, or surprising to devs that were maybe working on it, what was surprising was the news, because devs didn't know. Devs didn't know.
Kind of sucks when you find out via a tweet when everybody else finds out, when you're working with the company directly, and you're, developing games for said company. And what was it? Did we see one that was like 2 days or 2 weeks out from release?
Yeah, so we've
when
got
found out?
we've got a couple of them. So Mike Rose took to Twitter, and it's the publisher of Descenders and Yes Your Grace and some other titles as well. They had a game scheduled to come out in November.
Yes.
And he says on Twitter, "Oh my God," and links the Verge article from it shutting down. "We have a game coming to Stadia in November. Who wants to guess that Google will refuse to pay us the money they owe us for it?"
Yeah. Especially if they're refunding all its equipment and other fees that,
right. Then you have other developers that, yes, they had not only games coming out in 2 days from the announcement, 2 days from the announcement, but you also had developers that just last week signed contracts with Google to bring their games to.
You would think they'd stop signing those contracts. You know?
If there was even talk that like maybe we're gonna cancel, that should be a red flag. Don't sign anything until we're sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Tom Vian
But,
on
like-
Twitter says Tangle Tower was due to launch on Stadia in 2 days' time. And this article was the first I heard about it shutting down. Now, luckily, Tom and team are in a situation where Stadia isn't the only distribution platform for Tangle Tower. It's on like everything else. So they'll probably be okay. Maybe, right? That could have been income that they were banking on for something, but this isn't going to be like, hey, everything's now null and void. But yeah, there are other developers that may be in a rougher spot.
I was looking, and Mike Rose from No More Robots also stated that hours later, still no email from Stadia, no clarity on what's happening with our games, deals, anything. Really would have been nice if they'd told partners or even got in contact with us by now.
I think honestly, it's just another
That's an
situation like when they closed down the game studio. Yod, remember the people that were working and developing games? They had no clue until it happened.
Yeah,
I think
like I said, we reported on that one too.
Everybody was in the same boat.
Mhm.
You know, they just shut it down. Now, luckily, it seems like the employees, at least internally to Google, are being reallocated to other projects. There doesn't seem to be any layoffs, at least yet, tied to this. Maybe there will be in the future. So that's, silver lining, I guess. But to be signing contracts as recently as last week, how absurd.
Right, totally. Especially when you know you're going to announce this. I mean, come on now. Come on now, people.
Even your favorite game, Yod, might be impacted by this.
Yes.
Destiny 2 impacted by this.
The game itself, no, not really. But the community, I'm sure there are people that play it on Stadia. Because a game like Destiny, where a lot of it is server side,
and it's such a big freaking file.
Right, and it's perfect for a system like this, where you're playing it on the cloud, because so much of it is processed on server side that you can do a lightweight setup like this. And it kind of sucks though, because apparently there was what is this, the guy that he does
Lucky Lie, Luck Struck 9, the checkpoint guy.
Checkpoint. So checkpoints on raids and
he's
stuff
been
like that?
using 11 Stadia accounts to share checkpoints with fellow raiders, just to skip a bunch of like stupid stuff.
It's kind of cool
when you're loot grinding. It's badass. It's awesome. But this isn't going to work anymore, and they're looking for other methods, but doesn't know exactly where they're going to go. GeForce Now maybe could do it, but there's problems with GeForce Now having timeouts or idle timeouts that you can't overwrite.
Right.
But,
right. You're sitting there for like 6 hours or so, and you get kicked off, which sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other option is like investing in high-priced equipment like the beast behind me or a PS4 or something.
Yeah, and Takal's absolutely right? People doing the signing probably aren't the ones doing the shutting down. Of course, they absolutely wouldn't be. But if you are a higher-up involved in those decisions, there are ways that you say, hey, don't sign on any more people right now.
Right.
We're doing X, Y, and Z. I've been a part of those decisions at a higher level, particularly when it comes to things like laying people off or hiring freezes that your line level employees don't know about. But you say, okay, look, we're not going to be bringing anybody on right now. We're doing a little process management or whatever you say for the
whatever the cover story is.
Right,
You just tell the cover story.
The cover story.
Hey, we're reorganizing a little bit. Don't sign any new games on right now.
Yeah.
We're reorganizing things. Just chill for a little bit.
Right.
The cover story is a weather balloon.
Yeah, it's a weather.
It's a weather balloon.
It's always a weather balloon.
I'm saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
Always a weather balloon.
Well, looking at their Twitter, like their reply feed too, is a mess. Like they're responding to everybody, and they're just going, "Yeah, we're just gonna continue this conversation in DMs." Like they don't want anything aired. Like it's just straight down. Just look at their replies.
Of course, God. When you do that, it admits the end is nigh. Yeah, it absolutely does, but it doesn't admit it publicly. And everybody knew the end was nigh anyway. Everybody, nobody should be surprised that Stadia was not doing well.
Especially when they shut down their game studio.
Yeah. Once that was gone, you probably should have been able to go, maybe I should take that internal transfer. Like,
Right. Or start looking for a new gig somewhere else.
What
Or
other-
stop developing our game.
what other
or our
projects do we have here at Google to work on for the next 2 years before
Well-
I internally transfer again because we cancel this?
Definitely will not cancel that project.
I feel though if they sign these contracts that they owe them something. It's got to be in the contract. So
Yeah, it
Yeah,
has to be. It
gotta
has to be.
be.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not arguing
if
that.
they
I'm
signed
not
it
arguing
within,
that if
the
you
last
say,
week-
"Hey, don't sign contracts right now," that it doesn't eventually lead to speculation about you shutting down. But when you're
Right.
talking about, there's no way around that. But so you're going to try to convince me that the alternative is to say nothing and leave your
No.
external partners in the dark?
No, I'm just saying
no,
the people that
that's
recently
that's
signed
silly.
contracts though are probably still going to get money for doing no work.
They better actually. The
Yeah,
contracts are
yeah.
signed. You brought them on.
Exactly.
Once you sign the contract, or else you take them to court, and then you get even more money.
Although
'cause,
it is Google,
know,
so there's probably some stupid stipulation about, if we're no longer going to carry the service, the contract null and void. And you're like, hey, are you going to shut it down? And they're like, no. And they're like, okay, fine, sign.
yeah, I'm sure there's some kind of act of God clause or something in there.
Yeah.
Where if things
Weather
don't
balloon clause.
Weather balloon
Weather-
clause.
yes, the weather balloon clause.
So yeah, farewell, sweet prince. Good night, sweet prince. You will not really be missed. Like I don't think you will. I don't.
I
It's
don't
just
think
better
many game
options.
companies were. I don't think many companies were banking on Stadia.
I would hope not. I would
Yeah.
hope not. I mean, you
I
got
still think,
NVIDIA
like, if they-
GeForce now. You've got Xbox Cloud. I mean, those are just doing infinitely better. And I honestly, as much as interested as I am in cloud-based gaming, it is just not there tech-wise
Yeah, no.
on a
That's what I was
wide
just gonna
scale
say.
distribution. Like I can do it well at my house,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think it's ahead of its time.
but 2
Yeah.
blocks
Yeah.
down the road, that may not be the case, right? Like it's just so
Right.
the infrastructure.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all about infrastructure.
Oh, hey. Skull and Bones is delayed.
Something else that's not its time yet.
Yeah. The Skull and Bones is delayed again for the 5th time.
Who had March in the pool?
Yeah, right. And don't chalk that up to being a sure thing yet either. March
Wait,
2023.
do we want to bet now? Do we want to bet now? Is it going to get delayed again?
Oh, I'm gonna say no because I honestly think the only reason for this delay is to get away from God of War Ragnarok.
You think so?
Yeah, this was supposed. I think they're like resigned to this game is gonna do as well as it's gonna do, and there's nothing we can do at this point to change that we're gonna be able to do, because the alternative would be to pull it back in and cook it for another year or so, and that's just not an option. So I think Ubisoft at this point, they have to be resigned to it's going to do what it's going to do. But we don't need to put it up and have it launch the day before God of War Ragnarok and just have it get creamed like that. That's something we can avoid. So I'm going to go on a limb and I'll put my bet out saying it does come out March 2023.
Okay.
Do either of you two remember when the time limit is up for them to put it out?
It was supposed to be this year. So I would imagine
It's
for this
supposed to
type
be
of
this year.
delay that there's some type of negotiation. And they probably were like, look, do you really want to force us to launch this unknown IP that has the history that it does, that's going to be our first $70 Ubisoft price point title, the day before God of War Ragnarok launches? And somebody somewhere was like, all right, fine, good point. But you have to do it this fiscal year. And they said, okay, how about March? That's probably what
That's fair.
the chat
Yeah.
was, because this still makes their fiscal year.
That is fair, but I actually think they're going to push again.
You do? Why?
Yes. Because why March? Why push it all the
Because
way
it's
to
still
March?
in the fiscal year, but it's at
I
the
understand that, but-
very end of it.
Yeah,
but
but
if
why
you-
that far back?
Yeah, why that far back? If you want to still catch a good wind with, releasing a game, why not do it in December when God of War launches in November?
I think it's funny that you just said they want to catch a good wind with a pirate sailing game. I appreciate that. I appreciate what you did there.
But why not December? Why not still catch the holidays?
Ugh.
March is such a weird time to be launching.
What else is coming out near March though?
I'm not sure yet because it's 2023. other things could be pushed back to March.
This thing's just dead on arrival anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
like,
I think it is dead on arrival, but you get a few more, parents that don't understand which games are good and stuff buying up stuff in December.
So
for the holidays.
Their Twitter announcement, by the way, uses the age-old excuse. Today, we'd like to give you an update regarding our release date. Although Skull and Bones development is finished at this stage. Sure.
Yeah, right.
Sure it is. Sure it is. Well, maybe it's as finished as it's going to be, right? The invaluable feedback we received during our various technical tests and insider program convinced us we could use a bit of extra time to polish and balance the experience even further and ensure that you all get the best experience we can offer.
Isn't that what they said about Cyberpunk?
That's what every game says.
So I just looked up March's release schedule for 2023. Yep. Right now, all that's listed is Star Wars Jedi Survivor that has no date right now, just sometime in March. Honkai Star Rail.
Yeah.
PC, iOS, Android. The day before on PC, the Resident Evil 4 remake, which would be March 24th.
All right, this will be out a couple of weeks ahead of that.
March 28th, Simon the Sorcerer Origins, and March 31st, Chef Life, a restaurant simulator.
So a relatively tame window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know if you look at like November through February, just looking at Square Enix, right? I mean, they are pounding that launch window with titles, and then they're going to take a couple of months off and then drop Final Fantasy 16, and that's just Square Enix. So yeah,
maybe March is the time for it then.
Yeah, because you have no other options, maybe you'll try our sailing game.
Right.
January has the Dead Space remake, right? And then
December has Callisto Protocol, and
February has Hogwarts Legacy. So
that's going to be big.
They're probably trying to avoid all those. But at the same time, Resident Evil 4 remake is in March, so it's the end of March. But
it would be amusing if that wipes the floor with it.
I'm honestly worried about this because I know some people are like looking forward to this type of title. I was one of them when Sea of Thieves came out, right?
I was too.
And
the concept is good.
Yeah. But Sea of Thieves like failed me at launch, and I know it's a lot better now. And if you like the game, great, fantastic, I'm glad. But there are a lot of people like me that it was just so bad, so disappointing at launch, and I've had so many other things to go to that I just never went back. No, even knowing that like there's a lot of good stuff going on in there, I never went back.
Let's suspend all disbelief for a second, though. What if this game is good?
I'll be stunned. Like I will be floored.
Completely flabbergasted.
I wouldn't even have words for it. Yeah, Havoc brings up No Man's Sky. That's another one that I know is very, very good now, but there's too many other things to play. I've never gone back.
It is. There's too many other things out there, and
I still haven't replayed Cyberpunk yet, and that falls in this same bucket too, right? Where 6, 8, 10 months later, there's good things happening, and Edge Runner's doing wonders for getting people to return to Cyberpunk.
Don't care though; they got your money.
Yeah, they do. They do.
And I know you love that Battlefield meme I put up.
I did. Yeah, we're about to get a Battlefield anime. I think I mentioned that on yesterday's show, actually. I am worried for this one though because you had CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, and you had No Man's Sky, and you had Sea of Thieves, Rare, backed by Microsoft, and they had the time and willingness to fix those situations. I could very much see this coming out and going, if this doesn't sell well, we're done. Like, we don't want anything to do with this title anymore. We have fulfilled our contractual obligations. We're out of here. And they'll use the fact that it didn't sell well as the excuse to not give it the improvements that the people that did buy it really, really would want. Like, I could see Ubisoft just like walking away from this one, Dom.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What is the longest? I'm trying to look this up right now. What is the longest game delay in history? I know it was Duke Nukem Forever for a long time.
It was.
It held the record,
yeah.
But I believe it was just recently beat by something else.
It was. It was recently beaten by a Ubisoft title. So Duke Nukem, and credit to Brendan Sinclair on Twitter, Duke Nukem Forever went 5,156 days from its announcement in 1997 to release in 2011. It's now been 5,234 days since Ubisoft first announced Beyond Good and Evil, or Beyond Good and Evil's trailer 2. The trailer was released. And we still have no update on that game. Like none, besides it's not dead. It's not dead. It's not dead. But the lead creator left. Like he left a while ago. Like
where does Metroid Prime fit on this?
Ooh,
the fourth one.
I don't know.
They didn't actually announce that.
So that was announced in 2017, but then they had to do like a whole reboot.
I still have that game reserved through Best Buy, through the Gamers Reward program that was canceled. My pre-order is still for the $47.99 price. I'm not canceling it.
Yeah,
not happening.
And I don't know I don't know if you count Prime 4's entire time, because they did publicly say like it was announced in 2017, and then in 2019 they did publicly say like we're starting over.
Yeah.
So do you count it from the beginning in 2017?
No, absolutely.
They still have a while to go either way. But
that's no different than pushing the game back. You know, like even if you're starting over, it's the same game.
They still have a while to go either way.
Have they even showed anything though? They haven't shown anything.
They showed the logo. That's all.
The logo. That's all. But I mean, Beyond Good and Evil 2 had a trailer.
They
Come on
showed
now.
the logo.
It's different.
Yeah, that's now the longest delayed game ever.
Yeah. Wow.
What else is going on in gaming, gents? Oh.
Got a country trying to take over gaming.
Yad, we've talked about this before. You know, some
have.
people being a little leery of Saudi Arabia's investments into gaming lately. Well, those are about to get a lot bigger. The Savvy Games Group, which is owned by the Sovereign Wealth Fund, they are about to put $18.6 billion into minority stakes in several key companies, gaming companies, and $13.3 billion to acquire, quote, a leading game publisher to become a strategic development partner. So they're about to get a lot more hands-on in the gaming industry. Now, $13.3 billion, and they're looking for a publisher. They're not looking for a dev. They're going to pick up a strategic publishing company. So think like your EA, your Take-Twos, those types. Obviously, those two companies, $13.3 billion ain't going to do it.
That's not even close.
But that's the type of company you're looking at. Any guesses here?
For 13?
13.3. Yeah.
Yeah, because the publisher market is different than the developer market in that a lot of the publishers are larger companies because they don't actually have to do much of anything. They don't have to make the game. So their net worth is higher than the development companies, which actually do all the work, but they work on one game at a time, where the publishers just publish, like you said, EA, which they publish everything.
Right.
So I don't know what 13.3 would even touch in a publisher.
I don't know either. I honestly don't know. ArenaNet,
that's a way low number.
It wouldn't be ArenaNet. ArenaNet's the development house, and that's owned by NCSoft. $13.3 billion ain't going to do it for NCSoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ArenaNet isn't a publisher; they're a developer. Again, you're Naughty Dog. That's a developer, though. They're looking at picking up a publisher. So think those other companies like EA, like Take-Two, stuff like that.
The companies that their names on everything, but they don't actually make anything.
Right. I mean, some of those companies, may do a publishing deal for a title or two, but they're not usually in the conversation of big game publishers. Like Square Enix certainly publishes titles, but you wouldn't really call Square Enix a publisher.
No, because they also develop their own stuff as well.
Right. And I mean, this is still Saudi Arabia, right? I mean, the U.S. intelligence, they're still labeling them, hey, murderers for Jamal Khashoggi, right? The journalist. I like this, and this is according to Video Games Chronicle. The head of Saudi Arabia's gaming investment arm has dismissed those types of concerns, saying that those are older impressions of the company.
Uh-huh. So what? All those people are that did that stuff are also killed?
You do know that the whole Khashoggi thing was 2018, right? Like this isn't like, hey, the United States in the 70s, a lot of stuff happened at the work culture that was, fine back then, but that's totally different now 50 years. And this is 4 years ago. 4 years ago. I don't know. Publishers are getting my hopes up though. We're still live, by the way. Well, it's reconnecting.
Are we still live?
It's reconnecting now. I was actually worried about this pre-show because we're getting the residual weather from the hurricane.
Yeah.
Right.
So, welcome back, chat. Sorry about that. All of a sudden, I'm sitting here talking to myself.
Yep.
We're back on.
Okay.
So
I don't see us actually back on Twitch yet.
You're fine. We'll be there in a second.
Okay.
I was going to go to the next topic, and then it kind of made me think, like, would you count Konami as a publishing company now?
These days?
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, it wasn't Twitch this time, Ninja. It was my internet. We were getting nasty weather outside due to the hurricane down south.
Yeah,
we're getting the residuals. I was a little worried, but I thought, okay, we'll try it anyway. And sure enough, my internet decided to restart. Because would you count Konami as a developer these days? I wouldn't.
No.
Even their last Castlevanias were Mercury Steam.
Right, but they're also not really publishing that much either, since they're doing mostly pachinko machines.
Well, here let's get a little happy again.
What do we got?
Yeah, Silent Hill game just got rated in Korea.
So I swear, one of these days I'm gonna do one of those an image with the murder board with Val on there, with all the strings all over the place, just for Silent Hill.
We have no clue what it is, but a game called Silent Hill: The Short Message was recently rated by South Korea's Game Rating and Administration Committee. We don't know, if it's just some mobile thing, if it's a little demo of something playing off the name Short Message, maybe like a PT type thing like they did back on the PlayStation 3. We don't know. But there is something bearing the Silent Hill name that just got rated in Korea. Dare I get my hopes up this time, Dom?
No. Don't do it. I've given up hope. It doesn't exist. Silent Hill, it's an alternate universe. It's the what's it called? The Mandela effect. It never existed to begin with.
There's no such thing as Silent Hill games.
Nope.
We all just remember them.
Yes.
We all just remember them.
I'm over it. I want a Silent Hill game more than anybody on this planet, and it's never gonna happen. I've just accepted that.
Yeah, until it's physically in my hands.
No, even then.
Even then, you're not gonna believe it.
No.
Even then.
I'm gonna play through it. It's gonna get to the end, and then it's gonna reveal that it was actually like a cyberpunk prequel or something, and I'm gonna be very upset.
Most people want a full version of PT. Yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted Kojima's Silent Hill remake, Silent Hills.
I've still got PT on this machine behind me.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Do you remember the original, not the PT, but the trailers that they had for PT afterwards, when they revealed it was Silent Hill and they showed the walking around in the school, and the ball going around, it turns into somebody's head. That was even crazier than the PT demo.
Oh,
Everybody still talks about the PT demo. It was insane and revolutionary, and it definitely was to a degree. But the trailer for what it was supposed to be was even more insane, and that's where I'm really disappointed from.
I mean, I think one of the things, if I remember correctly, like you said, it might be the Mandela effect. But when you play the PT demo, you actually had to talk into the microphone.
Yeah.
Yes.
You actually had to say things to things, which was strange and new because in previous game systems you didn't need a microphone. You couldn't interact like that, and that made it all the more creepy, especially since it was first person. Because that gets extra creepy points when it's first person as opposed to third person. But actually talking to whatever the heck it is in that house was revolutionary at the time. I think that's what people remember, and that's kind of what they want in the next level. But yeah,
What was the first game? Oh, totally off topic. But what was the first game either one of you had to use voice in? Not on headsets talking to somebody else on Xbox Live, but where your voice actually had to be used in the game.
I think PT was the first one for me.
It very well may have been for me as well. I feel like
Mine
there
was
was another one, but I
SOCOM.
can't think of it.
Mine was SOCOM on the PS2.
Huh.
Yeah, where you actually had to use your voice commands.
I remember in I think it was Mass Effect 2, you could use voice command to tell your two people to move around and stuff like that. It wasn't very intuitive, so it wasn't really worth it, but it wasn't required either.
Yeah, I remember SOCOM, the first SOCOM coming out. That was a pretty big deal with the headset, and it could play online and you use the headset to communicate with other players. But when you were playing offline, you gave commands to your squad, like Zulu, go left and hold this spot and stuff like that. You didn't have to, but I definitely did. It was awesome.
It's almost very reminiscent of like the early MS DOS games, like not Kingdom Hearts. What was it? King's Quest.
Zork, baby.
Yeah,
Zork,
you had to type all your commands in.
Yeah, go east.
Go east, turn right.
Then you figured out you were just like, I can just type E. Forget this.
Well,
E.
King's Quest was the first that had actual graphics to go along with those commands, right?
I don't remember which was the first to use any type of graphic off the top of my head. There was a documentary that was in, though, that I just watched not too long ago.
It was High Score.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It was. Yeah, you're right. It was.
Yep.
Well, let's stop looking at the past, gents, and start looking at the future. Here's some games upcoming. Want to know what you think about them, what we're all peeking at. First up, let's look at Wild Hearts. This is one that kind of snuck up on me. But if you like Monster Hunter games, this might be one to keep an eye on. This is coming from EA, speaking of the devil, and Dynasty Warriors creators Omega Force. And this is kind of going to be a Monster Hunter game in feudal Japan with, the whole beast slaying thing. And you can do it solo, you can do it in co-op, things like that. So you're also going to be making like giant mines that explode when monsters get near, and harpoons. So it's going to be a little more than just running in and beating something up. This is coming out on February 17th for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and the PlayStation, and PC. Via all, basically. Like you'll have it on Origin, Epic Games, Steam, all of that. We're going to get more of a debut of this one later this week on the 5th. But the trailer we have right now, so far, the reveal trailer, man, if you like Monster Hunter, I don't see how you don't at least give this one a shot.
It is very pretty.
It is pretty.
I just recently played Monster Hunter Worlds through Iceborne and whatnot. I enjoyed it, but I still felt like a lot of the monsters in there were kind of repetitive. It was like variants of the same monsters. So hopefully this one
there's like one of the traps that just got popped, a giant hammer that just blasted that thing in the face.
But hopefully, since this is on next gen consoles and not like developed on something like a Nintendo Switch, they can do a little bit more with it in terms of graphics and variety, adding more to it. So
Worlds I played on PS4.
Yeah.
The problem I had was it looked good. The problem I had was you had to kind of like separate from your group every time you went back to base.
Yeah.
Which was kind of annoying. And then you had to regroup back up when you went out into the world.
Yeah.
And coming off of playing Destiny and jumping into that, it kind of broke a lot of the groups I was in where you had to do that.
There was a hub world that you could go to where you could group up there, but you couldn't like walk through the rest of the world,
Right.
which is kind
But
of.
you kind of had to go through the rest of the world to get quests
But
and stuff.
I haven't played the newest Monster Hunter. The group I was playing with, they weren't a fan of it because the PC version just looked like it was a Switch version, so they just didn't want any interest in it. Because they're like, this is very obvious Switch graphics. We're just doesn't look good to us. So I was like, all right. So I haven't played the newest Monster Hunter, but this I might be able to talk them into playing.
Yeah, I think Monster Hunter.
I think the only reason you don't look at this one is if you're just totally not into the feudal Japan look, right? I mean, that's
that
the
is
only
very
thing.
feudal Japan. That is so feudal Japan.
Oh, I love it too. But like I said, I think the only time you don't take a look at this game, and I'm going to fix Zista here a little bit, is if you don't like that aesthetic.
You're still there. You're still there.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, I was just fixing this. You're centering you a little more because you shifted on this
hold
footage.
Let me go over here.
No, don't go over there.
Hold on. Wait, did I fix it?
So yeah, look for that February, and then amidst all the delays, publisher Kepler Interactive and Ebb Software, the developer, are actually moving up.
That never happens.
Never. They're moving up the launch of Scorn. It was supposed to release later this month, October 21st. Now it's going to be October 14th, moving it up a whole week. Nobody knows why. I mean, their Twitter just says you've waited long enough. So perhaps we're just going to get it into your hands faster. Like, I don't know. But it is October. It is my favorite month. It is my favorite holidays coming up. Scorn is a horror adventure, survival adventure. I'm all for it. Man, does this look creepy. It's like everything looks like it's ripped right from a Geiger painting, right? Like just, it's got that Aliens aesthetic to it. And it looks fantastic.
It's slimy and wet and...
Yod 2022. It's slimy and wet.
And goopy. Don't forget the goopy.
And goopy. I mean, some of these things just look incredible. This has Geiger all over it, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
somebody was heavily inspired.
I think they want to push it up to, take advantage of horror games being played.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. And maybe not to compete with some other stuff like, Ghostbusters and whatnot. I don't think is really like a top competitor of theirs, but it's just like they want to avoid like the hype train of a bunch of games coming out later in the month.
This is going this deep into this type of art style or this aesthetic, though, certainly limits your audience, though.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And I'm not talking of just the general limiting that, like, hey, the game's very gory and somebody's not into a lot of gore. Obviously, that is going on here. We're going to talk about another game, too, where that's going to be a factor. But like you may look at this and go, everything looks gray, everything looks black. This isn't very visually interesting to me. Where I look at it and just I want to see every nook and cranny of it, even though it is all different shades of brown.
It's not only that. Anybody that hates the word moist is just not going to buy
it. It is quite.
Sometimes I hate all of you. Then we've got the Entropy Center, which I guess is kind of like, hey, if Valve isn't going to make a new Portal, we'll do it.
Hell yeah!
I kind of feel like, I was watching the trailer and I was like,
the whole thing felt Portal-y.
Yeah, that is so Portal.
It looks fantastic, though. It really does. Like, I love puzzle games, and the gun's personality in the trailer, you can't hear it here. The gun is funny.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like that whole Rick and Morty game feels real forced to me, some of the dialogue. This doesn't.
Yeah, like it's a much calmer and not as sassy GLaDOS, but I'm completely okay with that.
If you like physics-based puzzles, stuff like that, you definitely want to check this one out. Yep. Then what else do we got? We've got Overwatch 2 coming.
Yeah.
In fact, tomorrow Overwatch 1 goes dark. Tomorrow afternoon. Yeah, it goes dark. It'll be done. I didn't know
they were taking it offline.
Totally offline.
1 full day.
Yep,
blackout.
About 27 hours later, on the 4th, Overwatch 2 will launch. Free to play. If you have Overwatch 1 or have played Overwatch 1, that'll help you unlock some heroes very quickly. But other than that, You know, heroes are going to be locked behind the free-to-play battle pass, level 58 for this first season to get the new Kiriko hero. And then, if you pay for the premium battle pass, you'll unlock them right away. You still don't understand shutting down Overwatch 1 to launch 2, but oh well.
No.
I understand that. The rationale being there because remember, Overwatch 1 you have to buy to play.
Right.
Overwatch 2,
right.
They're launching as free to play, taking the loot boxes out, substituting in a battle pass that still has its own fear of missing out and hero locking shit that I'm not a fan of. But you certainly don't want to split your Overwatch audience across two titles. One being 6v6 and one being 5v5. That is a sure thing, a sure way to make somebody decide which one of the two they're going to play. I don't think it's a consumer-centric move, don't get me wrong, to shut one down and force you into the other one, but at least I can understand the logic behind it.
So Overwatch 1 is done.
It's done. Yeah, it'll shut down tomorrow and that's it.
Completely, forever.
Yeah, done. Gone.
See, the fact that you had to buy it and they're doing that rubs me the wrong way.
Well, all of your stuff, you're like cosmetics and shit, those are going to transfer over. So you don't lose. Yeah. It's not like Destiny 1 and Destiny 2 where they shanked the Destiny 1 players by not letting them bring cosmetics over. You
can still go back and still play Destiny 1 to this day.
True.
Like, the servers are still on. You purchased the game, you can still play it.
Yep. That's
but
true.
everything is coming over to Overwatch too.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Like game modes.
Yeah, game modes, maps. They are making changes to the competitive formats. Well, obviously a big change being 5v5 instead of 6v6, but even like the ranking and stuff in the background, they are making changes to this stuff. And they are adding more of like some PvE stuff because right now, like all the lore is basically on the internet. You have to go get it somewhere else. But there's going to be some PvE stuff that they wanted to do in Overwatch 1 and never got to it in Overwatch 2. So something for PvE players who have looked at Overwatch and go, I would totally play a game that had like a story and a narrative with these characters in this world, but I don't want to sit there and play PvP. So there's a little something.
I was very
extra.
excited for the PvE mode for this game, and then that's got pushed off. Like it's still coming, it's just not launching with it.
Right.
But did you guys hear about the Defense Matrix initiative that they're doing?
No.
For Overwatch 2.
What is this?
They are basically using some kind of software to track voice comms.
Yeah.
And like create a chat log through it. So it's not actually recording, but it's like
they aren't the first to this party either.
Right.
I think it was Apex Legends that just recently announced that they're going to start recording voice comms and you can file a report and they can go back and catch it.
Yeah, so they're gonna do this to, combat toxicity, as well as they're making you link your mobile device.
Yep, a phone number. Yeah,
to the game. That way, if you get banned, you are banned. There's no way around it, which makes sense for a free to play game because it's very easy to just create another account when you get banned.
It is, but this also starts reaching like, do I really care about your fucking game enough to go through these hoops? Right. Like, do I really want to give you my phone number and have my voice comms recorded at all times? Like, just, you know what? There's so many other games.
Yeah.
Do either of you two find it ironic that it's Blizzard talk about toxicity?
Right. They are doing another thing though, which is kind of divisive. Here is they're actually removing for new players, right? So if you've ever played on Overwatch 1, you're fine. This is only for accounts that were created post Overwatch 2's launch. You don't get access to all the heroes right away, include like the Overwatch 1 heroes we're talking about. They get locked. You have a select pool, and as you play through over the course of like 50 games or so, they will unlock just slowly over time. This is to combat, I think it's overwhelming. They have, I think it's going to be like 35 or 37 heroes with the game now. So it's to combat the overwhelming of like, I don't know what to play and I don't know how to play it. And people expect you to swap. I know there's a lot of people against it. I think this is actually a really great move for new players.
Right, but this is only for totally new. Like if you never played Overwatch 1.
Correct. But like also like people are like instantly like, oh my god, I hate this. Like, they've made it so if you group with anybody, like if you're in a group setting, everything is unlocked. So this is really if you're just playing by yourself, right? So if Mike has never played before, like, and he makes an account after Overwatch 2 launches, we go in a group together and we queue up. He can play everything except for competitive. That's the only thing. There's some restrictions to competitive play that you have to access, like do a quest line or something
Right.
to
I was
do.
just
But
gonna say, you know what would be really great for unlocking heroes and learning the game? A PvE mode,
Well, that's going to be there. Yeah.
yeah,
just not on launch.
correct.
Yep. Oh yeah. I guess we should say that this is the PvP stuff that is launching on
Yeah.
October 4th. Yeah, I guess we should say that. I don't know. I don't care enough about Overwatch 2 personally. And when
Neither
you
do
start
I.
adding, and yeah, chat's right. I mean, like if you're addicted to Overwatch and that's your game, yeah, you're going to jump through all these hoops, and they know that. But I have to believe that there's a certain segment of your current population in Overwatch 1 that is just like, nah, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm out.
some casual players.
I'm done.
Yeah.
There's more
I'm gonna
options.
try it.
There's more options.
I get 1 day to play it before I leave for TwitchCon. So
Content warning on the trailer below. This is the new Dead Space stuff.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait. I still cannot wait for the Dead Space remake. And I just wanted to bring this here because we're getting close. Just a couple months away. Just a couple months away. Some of the things that they are doing, and I would not have expected EA to be a part of stuff like this, right? I really, really like. Apparently, in the development cycle for this, very, very early in development, creative director Roman Campos Oriola says, really early in development, we started discussions with some members of the community who were identified by our teams as diehard Dead Space fans. We met with them every 6 weeks, roughly, and we gave them full access to what we were doing. Because we have our opinions, that doesn't necessarily mean we're right. And there are a number of polarizing topics we wanted to get a gut check on. So we gathered feedback from these groups to make informed decisions. A focus on community is one of the key pillars of this project. So we also took feedback from our live streams, read through user reviews and Twitch comments. There were a lot of intake of information. It was all to understand who we're addressing with this game and what made Dead Space spectacular for them. That is awesome. That is really, really awesome.
It really is. And I mean, while it would have been even cooler if they included the original creator
And
in
I'm
it.
actually showing Callisto footage here, so let's go to
I
a
was gonna
different.
say
Yeah, that's next.
Yeah. But yes, it would have been really cool if they did include the original creator in on it. But I
Yeah.
think a lot of stuff these days that are basing their current content off of a long running series with a fan base
Right.
needs to take this kind of move where they actually talk to their fans and goes like, okay, what made this great for you?
Yep.
If we change this, does it change how you feel about it? And take those steps instead of just going, I'm going to make my own version of it. Screw you. You know?
Apparently,
yeah,
the game's all going to be one shot, too. One long
which is
shot
also really
from
cool.
beginning to end. So no loading screens. You can go forward and backward throughout the ship, backtrack, like none of that. It's all an unbroken experience. That's actually been done before with God of War, the 2018 reboot. And Ragnarok's probably going to follow in that same suit, too, at least from everything we know now. But that's really going to be a big change for people that have played through the original Dead Space 2, is like the ability to do some of the backtracking and get things that you might have missed, and that's going to be awesome. I cannot wait for that. Cannot wait.
It looks like it's going to be good.
And I also can't wait for this gory trailer here, Callisto Protocol.
Right. Now the trailer.
Now Callisto Protocol.
Oh, we can talk about this one now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so pumped about Callisto, man. It just continues to look better and better every time I see this new gameplay here, or new trailer. Focusing on the Black Iron, the Black Iron prison area and what's underneath of it. I can't wait. And this is also, by the way, the first time we see Karen Fukuhara, her character model, in here. She looks fantastic as well. Looks fantastic.
Crawling
Can't
through
wait.
those vents is crazy.
Yep. Right. This looks so
Also,
good.
Also a GUI game.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Definitely a GUI game. What do you got, Dom? There's something you're watching for too.
I'm watching for a couple things, right? I'm still really excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Definitely gonna be
Spirits
picking that one
Unleashed,
up.
you mean?
Spirits.
Oh yeah, Spirits Unleashed.
Yeah. It's the after. It's like a follow up to the Afterlife movie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That looks so awesome. That's
Oh.
like the 18th. That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
It is.
So basically right when I get back. I get back on the 12th, so it'll be the week after when I get back. So we got that. Then we got Mario Rabbids, which I've
you've been singing its
many
praises on dozens of shows here.
I was actually just talking about like sleeper games on the Switch, like when the Switch launched, and like people were like, "Oh, there wasn't a lot of good games on the Switch that on launch that made me want to play it," and then they saw like Mario Rabbids, and they're like, "Why? Like, what is this awful game?" And then they actually saw like gameplay footage of it, and they're like, "Oh, that looks really good," because you got the the XCOM, SOCOM styles kind of stuff going on. Is great. And then we got Triangle Strategy from Square.
Yeah, that's right around the corner too.
I haven't even heard anybody talking about it really. Like,
we talk about it on the Relic Grind?
Well, I know you guys,
Yeah,
but I just mean like outside our circle. Like, I don't hear anybody talking about it, and it's just like, why?
Yeah.
It looks really good. This is like the kind of game everybody's been asking for.
What do you, Yod? You got anything you're looking for? You didn't add anything here, so I'll give you a shot.
Not so much right now. I've been a little busy with a bunch of other stuff in life. So.
Not a problem. Let's go do games of the week then. Episode of Gaming Gumbo here. It's where all three of us hosts are going to give you a game. Could be a card game, board game, video game, mobile game, whatever we're played in the past, or going to play in the future, and just think you should probably check out too. And you let us know in the comments on YouTube and Check Raideo who gave the best recommendation. I'm going to go first. It has got to be Return to Monkey Island. Is like, even if you aren't like super enamored with the change to the art style, which I totally get for some people, it doesn't bother me. I would have preferred the older style, but I'm okay with the wonky style now. It has everything you would want if you were a fan of Monkey Island. So 100%, that's my recommendation. Go ahead, Yod.
I am actually going to go with the demo for Slime Rancher 2. I got a chance to check it out this week, and it is a hell of a lot of fun. Just sucking up slimes and feeding them.
I remember streaming the first one right here on Ready Check. What do you got, Dom?
Gonna go with Overwatch 2 because it's right around the corner. I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Cautious, keyword cautious. But yeah, I'm gonna check it out and see what the hype's all about.
Quick note. I mean, we don't really go too deep into just, hey, there's a release date announcement, but we do have one for Dragonflight, World of Warcraft's Dragonflight expansions, November 28th. I think.
Sounds about right.
November. This isn't updated. November 28th. Yeah, November 28th. Yeah. So I'll be touching base with some of our mutual friends over at Blizzard to see, should I actually give this company money or should I still continue to hold off? I let our friends make that decision, Dom, because they're the ones that, they have to deal with the company. So if they tell me it's okay, maybe we'll check it out. If they say not yet, not yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that from you as well. If I'm going to pick up the next Diablo or not.
I will say, normally by this time, I had World of Warcraft pre-ordered, collector's edition, all secure, all lined up. That is not the case this year.
I would have had it pre-ordered too, but I don't have it pre-ordered. I am playing what I want. Yeah, I'm not going to give money to a company that treats employees that way. Now, if those employees that are friends of mine say things are different, then maybe I'll rethink giving them money. Other than that, I got too many MMOs to play as it is. I don't really need another.
Final Fantasy
I'm working my way through ESO on PC, catching up to my damn console character because it's not multi-platform. Anyway.
So am I going to see you on Overwatch 2, Mike?
No. Get the hell out of here. No.
When the PvE mode comes, can I talk you into trying?
Oh, I'll try it then. Yeah. I mean, it cost me nothing to jump into the free thing and see what they got, and that cost me
I might check it out then too.
I love the world and some of those characters. It just
I
just don't. The only
lore is amazing.
PvP game that I sit there and play over matches over and over and over again is Rocket League. Like anything else is just nah. You know,
Well, Overwatch also teased like a big Junkenstein revamp. So Bride of Junkenstein they're talking about. So I'm curious to see what they do with that mode. Yeah.
Chat, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. After the show, we've got a streamer coming in hot. Torchwick, what's up?
Hello.
It's been a while.
Not much.
We missed you last week.
Yeah. The roommate was actually here last week. But that's the exception, not the rule. So.
Well, welcome back. We missed you. You know I missed you over in New York, but I get to see you. We will have shows as normal next week, but we will not have them the following week because we'll be up in New York with you for the entire weekend. So that'll be nice. Get to see you. But what are you streaming tonight?
We're gonna hop back into Final Fantasy Tactics, and I'm gonna get my ass kicked if the pattern holds.
If the pattern holds.
Dragoons. Trained dragoons.
I can't make them dragoons yet. That's not an option.
He's got to earn it.
But when you can.
So
Dragoons.
don't go
Squad.
anywhere, chat. We're going to have Torchwick coming up live with some Final Fantasy Tactics. We will, of course, be back next week with all the shows as normal. Again, the following week, we will be off on the shows. Thursday, Friday over on MMO Bomb, and Saturday here while we do a family-like homecoming week at RIT. It'll be a lot of fun. Until then, Yod, where can everybody find you?
Yada Artworks on Twitter, Yada Artworks on Facebook, and right here on Gaming Gumbo.
Dom.
You can find me down below at Itzista and this coming week at TwitchCon.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally, hiccup, right there at Magic Man 1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio, RAIDEO, and you'll get a tweet every time we go live. Until next time, stay safe. See you on the servers.